Nemotron 3 Ultra just dropped, and we're trying to see if this is going to be amazing to use and possibly something that we can replace most of our agentic coding tasks. Because I'm currently using GPT-5 and I know other people are using different models. And so in today's live stream, we're pretty much just going to go through a whole exploration, kind of figuring out what is this new Nemotron 3 Ultra thing. Is really good at agentic engineering. I know a lot of other people are probably going to be covering benchmarks and things. And so the focus for this is more just to kind of hang out and relax and figure out which people are currently serving this model for us to use, because I want to actually set this up in my OpenClaw and then possibly even migrate my OpenClaw over to Hermes, because Hermes, those folks at Nous Research currently host the model or have access to a portal that we can use for free as well. So a lot of great stuff. For those who just are kind of tuning in right now, you're probably going to hear a lot about this. It's just a mixture of experts model. It's supposed to be really, really fast. And this is kind of actually trained for a lot of this agentic loop stuff that we're doing. So I'm super curious about this. There's so many different posts about this and kind of what's going on, especially on X. You'll probably see a lot of people talking about this. And so Nebius is also a person, also some of the folks who host it. So I wanted to take a look there because I was able to log into their portal at Nebius, and I found that they have the model here, and they can serve it at 60 tokens per second, which is super fast. And then they have it basically at 1 million tokens in and 1 million tokens out. And then I looked over in OpenRouter as well. So OpenRouter is currently hosting this also for the million token context window. It's currently free. And if you use it inside of OpenRouter, you're basically going to be able to you're giving your data over to, I think, NVIDIA and those folks who want to train on it. So this is your use is logged for security purposes and your session data for improvement purposes is not linked with your identity or any persistent identifier. So for more information, see NVIDIA's processing policies. So obviously, depending on where you want to do this, because it's an open weight and open data model, that means that you can take these weights and just rent your own GPU and just throw the weights on them and do them. If you have that infrastructure to host this model, then you can do that. At 550 billion parameters, that's a pretty big model to host. You'll probably need several H100s and H200s or so to host them. And if you want to host it at the full precision, there's also ways to do that at the lower precisions. And I'm not going to go into those details right now. I just want to really focus more on kind of getting this stuff set up in my agentic loop. But I just definitely wanted to talk about some of the inference providers who have this on launch. And I think the Hermes Agent has this as well. I think, big shout outs to Jay, right? What do you say? If you have the Ollama Cloud plan, you can just add it at no extra cost. That's cool. Yeah, so the Ollama Cloud. And then I know that Hermes Agent also has this as part of their thing. So we're going to take a look at their portal. OpenCode also has it if you want to do some coding tasks with it. So that's pretty cool. I think that's really awesome that a lot of people right at launch are going to be able to provide this type of thing. So yeah, that'll be that. And so what I want to do real quick is I'm going to do a quick research task and send this over to my OpenClaw. And I'm right now using Cursor. So with Cursor, I'm basically sending multiple agents to do research. And I'm going to try to see, like, out of all the different providers that are out there, give me a whole list and detail of tokens per second, context length, thinking window, because a lot of different providers may configure the model to be used differently. And for agentic coding, maybe I'll just want the full 1 million token context window, or maybe I only want half of it. There's a lot of different variables here that can play into either cost factors, speed factors, or just overall feeling that the model feels pretty intelligent or smart. So right now, basically, it's going to kick off several research agents in parallel, and we're going to go take a look at that. So while that's spinning up and going, I'm going to go ahead and take a look here also at, so we have OpenRouter, and then taking a look at, Fireworks AI is also another one who hosts them. So let's take a look at their blog, and they're the ones who mentioning that Nemotron 3 Ultra, when compared to Kimi K26 or Quen 2.5, as far as agent productivity, which is what we're looking for, it's kind of the higher scores there. And so once we get this set up in OpenClaw and stuff, that'd be really, really cool. Because that'd be really interesting. It's max 256K. So these guys are running at 1 million token context window, so that's not applicable. I've heard it is good, but I heard it's good, but don't, just to be clear, if it's not true open source OSF, there are 4 very discretionary ways NVIDIA could yank the rug from under you and any derivative work if they wanted. So I think there's a new type of way that they've actually labeled what they call open, because it's still to be determined. And so there's having the open weights, having the data available, and also having like the I don't know the exact parameters, but then like this open concept of open is actually kind of taken on a bunch of different terms. So if you want to kind of clarify, Augment, what you mean specifically, because like it kind of goes all over the place, but there is now like a consortium that's being formed to kind of come together of saying, okay, like you really want to be open. It's like open data model weights or open DW or something like that. So basically you're saying you're just putting this stuff here and then people can train on it. Obviously there's like different licenses and various things that you can do. But the fact that you can take this and start, training and doing some other stuff on top of it is really interesting. The other interesting part that I'm super curious about is like what Cursor did with Kimi 2.5 with Composer 2.5. That is crazy fast. So if they're able to take some of this agentic work and they have their own agentic workflows and they're able to do what they did with Kimi, but do it here on top of this, because this is already much faster, tokens per second compared to Kimi 2.6, that'll be super duper interesting, right? So this is going to be, that'll be like crazy insane. So I don't see, let's see. So why run it on Fireworks? So they built the best performing inference. So they have NVIDIA GPUs running B300s and B200s on top of hardware. A proprietary optimizations like fire attention custom kernels deliver up to 4x higher throughput while fully preserving model quality. I'm all about that. So for family models whose entire point is fast, the efficient task completion across long agent runs, that's the environment you want to be time in. So day zero support. Whoa, this is crazy. So that's actually kind of insane. So, wow. Okay, so 550. Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can get this thing fired up on here. So what I'm going to do is going to try to see if I can log in real quick. Give me a second. And while I go ahead and log in, I'll try to see if I can answer some questions too. Yeah. Fireworks is great. I think Fireworks is hosted in North America, so that's kind of why. For those who are interested, as far as like where the model provider is, and I want to say as far as like the training stuff, I'll have to ask more questions, but I think they have like a zero retention policy where like you send the stuff in and it goes back out and it just does. They don't keep this stuff around for training the data. But we'll see. I'm just trying to make sure everything's clean here. So here we are. So they have Nemotron 3 Ultra, the NVFP4 config. So this is currently set up. So this is a configuration that NVIDIA has optimized so that this can be super duper fast at the full precision. It's like basically 4-bit, but it's NVIDIA's custom thing. And this performance is actually supposed to be pretty high as far as like the way that they've optimized it for the NVFP4 platform. So that just means more compatibility for different chips, and they can run at a higher speed. And typically you get higher speeds. Typically you don't really have that much of a loss in intelligence and so forth. So that's really interesting. The BF16, which is like the full precision, is going to be here as well, 262,000 tokens. Okay. And then over here for the super one, they have the Nemotron 3. Yeah, so I think there's ultra ones. Let me take a look at these two models and see kind of what is up with these two. So let me just click away. I just don't want to accidentally expose a key. Sometimes in the examples, they'll give your own key outs, which I find really annoying, but that's what's really cool. Okay, cool. So in here, we have 262,000 tokens. Perfect. So what is the thinking window? Function calling not as supported. Embeddings are not, re-rankers and image. So image input is not supported for this. Oh, that sucks. So that's the BF16 for the Ultra. So what about the NVFP4? Same thing. So we only have, so they've basically on Fireworks limited to 262 tokens. They have function calling. Okay. Wow. Hey, good morning, Jason. How's it going? Yeah. Open DW license for this one looks like you can do what you want with it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Dedicated. Deploy a dedicated GPU with high performance. Okay, so we can even deploy our own GPUs. Let's go. I don't think we're going to do that. I'm just basically shopping around, taking a look and seeing of these different model providers, like what are they offering and what can we actually do with this model, right? So yeah, this is this guy. We have artificial analysis. They did their score too. So this is where it scores their thing. So what do they say? Here is the model. So basically it sits between a Minimax and DeepSeek V4 above that. So that's, I think, what do they test specifically? Did they test coding? I think they tested all these benchmarks, but the thing I'm most interested in is kind of why we're doing this live stream is more for the agentic stuff, right? So let's see if our cursor thing finished up for our research. That way we can get this stuff integrated as fast as possible. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the best thing would probably be OpenRouter and then figuring out of the different providers. Let's see. OpenRouter, NVIDIA, I think they're just serving it from NVIDIA at 20 tokens per second with a 3.89 second latency. Basically, I think everyone's just hammering them. I think the OpenRouter is only really giving it from NVIDIA right now. Okay, that makes sense. Uploading MLX version. Yeah, some people have had access before, so that's probably how they're able to do that. Yeah, so this is interesting. Nous Research has partnered with Nebius to provide 2 weeks of the new Nemotron 3 Ultra. So in here, how do we get it? Setup guide and then portal sign up. So do I need a plan or something? I'm trying to figure out how to get this set up in for free in Hermes Agent. Okay, so to do this for free, we have to follow the instructions. So we have to use this :free, and it's available on the NVIDIA free tier is available from here. The free tag is what keeps the no-cost plan. Pick the exact variant. So whatever install fits you, the desktop app is the easiest. No terminal required. You live in the terminal command. Okay, cool. So all I have to do is just download this installer. Oh, am I going to brick my computer? Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Because I want to see if I can transition my agent. I have an agent called Max. And so Max is basically the one that's helping me with my whole health thing. And so from that agent, I want to see if I can actually get that and see if I can move it over to the Hermes agent and then see if I could use the Nemotron 3 Ultra model and see if I can actually tell a difference. Is there a difference between that one that's running and is also the difference between like my one that's running GPT-5? It used to be running the Anthropic models and I was spending $300 a month easily, plus just on back and forth requests. So I went from that to just spending $200 a month, right, on just my Pro plan, which covers everything. And then now, I basically be able to use the Ultra model and it should be fast enough. And a lot of the times I'm really just sending kind of the same information, literally just a picture of my food, picture of a nutrition label, picture of different things. The thing I'm really curious about is the Hermes agent will let me configure a different model to process images. And then I can use a different model for all the thinking, tool calling, and everything else. So I think that's kind of what's pretty cool about that. And the OpenClaw should be able to do the same thing. So this is going to be an interesting little thought exercise in terms of how we can do this here. So also Gemma 4 looking fire. I forgot about Gemma 4. Yes. So yeah, that could also be really cool. Yeah, I could take that here. Let's go. I have a special delivery. Thank you. You're fine. Yeah. Cool. Speaking of food, I have tacos. The tacos are brought to you today by Paia Fish House. If you're at Paia Fish House here in Oahu, is super fire. So yeah, I'm gonna get back into these in a little bit. So I'm gonna in the middle of my research task, I'll get to my food. I have to go paddle in about a couple of hours, so I need to definitely energize. Make sure I get that set up here. So yeah, that's what's up. When possible, 100%. Oh, the local way. Okay, cool. Yeah, for sure. I think local is definitely the way to go. Yeah. Had free DeepSeek announced, but it lasted a day. Okay, cool. So I have the installer. Should I install? I don't think I should install it on this Mac because this is going to mess up my whole thing. But I'm just going to check a look. Man, that's so cool. Okay. I might just remote in and install it. When you open, you'll see Let's Go Setup screen and then pick the model and then start chatting. Dang, is that easy, really? Okay, I might do it on this computer then. Lord help me. All right, so we're going to do this live, straight up live. I don't think I have any model set up on this machine. Here we go. This is full YOLO, my friends. Full YOLO. Yeah. So let's see. Here we go. Perfect. Let's open it up. Am I going to regret this? I think I'm going to regret this. Oh my god, that means my audience will be able to hack my live streams in real time. Has anyone tested the new Hermes? I mean, we're literally testing the desktop app right now as we speak. It's supposed to be completely duplicate everything from the CLI. Nah, I already did it. It's fine. Okay. Oh, this is it. Yeah, this is exactly. We're literally testing the Hermes. Actually, it's actually recommended from the Nous research portal. They said to use this actual thing. So now it's downloading the agent for us on this machine. I've kept this machine free of agents so far. I mean, like agents, quote unquote. But out of all of them, I guess I'm trusting Hermes the most, right? Yeah, y'all are too much right now. This is so funny. Yo, okay. Also, if you're just dropping in, feel free to hit that thumbs up because we're trying to get this stream out to more people. I'm getting back into the live stream loop if you're kind of curious. Trying to make sure that we can kind of reach more people. I really love live streaming and playing around with these types of things, especially with agentic coding. I have a free school community that I've started to kick off. I know I put free until 6/17. I thought about charging, but I might just extend it and keep it free for longer. If you want to go ahead and get in, I'm just going to drop this link right now. It's literally just free. So as long as you get in, and to me, this is a easier place for me to make posts on. And what I really like about this are the community factors. So other community members like Paul's like ranking #1 right now. He's been able to like answer questions, ask questions, and participate. Also Green Smoothie as well for the #2. We got David Kendrick as well for #3, and Herman kind of following in. I kind of post my updates as far as things that are going on pretty much every day. In here, you'll also find my QA skill that we've been talking about. So there's some other folks that are going to check it out. You can drop me feedback in there and it's super easy. It's probably like the best way to go back and forth. I find that easy to communicate with. So, because I'm like, Discord's a little tough with all the stuff that's scrolling all the time and it's not really forum based. And so I thought this is really cool. If you don't know, we're actually working on a real-time voice thing right now. I have this app here that's running. I'll show you that a little bit later, but basically his name is Pebbles. This guy's super cool. And we're kind of sort of building that together. And I'll show you real quick. So you see this little guy here, we can tap to wake him up and he'll wake up and we can actually fling around his, all these different, the rocks and stuff because they're little, like literally pebbles. Like, hey, how's it going, buddy? I don't know if he's actually responding to me, but this is supposed to be like real-time transcription. I'm doing a rewrite right now with the using Swift and using UIKit. So basically converting everything over to UIKit. And I'm just going to put him back to sleep again so that we can kind of get back into him. But yeah, more on that a little bit later because I was thinking about the Nemotron 3 Ultra model as powering this guy. So we'll see where this takes us. There's a lot to go, but definitely stay tuned in while we kind of wait around. So that's going to be really fun stuff. These models are really good at doing different things. So, oh look, array Fernando data dump. Yeah, I think as I'm installing the app, it's actually kind of doing its own thing there. So that's what's up. Curious how the rewrite goes to. No, it's backwards. I'm going from Swift to UIKit, but not everything is going to be in UIKit. A lot of the gesture related things, a lot of things that I want to do interactive wise are going to do that because it's just easier. I'll tell you a little bit more about the pattern, it's like a factory pattern that I'm doing for doing some of these things, especially the cards and things that kind of do that. Yeah, I don't want to be okay, cool, we're ready. Awesome. So it looks like Hermes agent is ready now. And for those who don't know, what we're doing is we're following the guide from Nous research. And so Nous research, because we want to run the new Nemotron 3 Ultra for free, instead of installing all the command line stuff and doing all that stuff, whatever, you can actually just install the desktop app. And this is actually recommended. I literally just went here, installed it. It took a little while to get everything set up, and it's just going to connect us right to the portal. So this is really cool. So then when we connect to the portal, we're just going to show the default model, and we're just going to select specifically the one that says free. This is the free tier. So then we should be able to start chatting with it, and we should be good to go. That'll be fire. So that's what I'm really interested in setting up. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch the agent. I have no clue what's going to happen. So my data could be gone the next day. Okay. So what it's doing right now, it's taking a look at some prerequisites and some other things. Yeah. Okay. Let me get some tacos real quick because I need to fuel up before the paddle in a couple of hours. Shrimp tacos. These are so crazy good. Mm. Yo, apologies in advance for the mukbang, but this is so worth it. Okay. Let me move my notebook out of the way. Mm. Okay. Hermes Agent. Just did it this morning. Buen provecho. Hey, thank you, man. I'm really curious how your experience went. I think this one's gonna be fire. I'm gonna see if I can make the font bigger. I wish the logo got bigger too. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, this layout is pretty fire. I like these little things here. Okay, it says no model. Okay, so let's follow the steps just to make sure I'm not messing up here. So download it. When the app opens, you'll see a Let's Get You Set Up screen. Click News Portal, marked recommended. Your browser opens to create a news portal. Sign in. Okay. There is a bug because there is no... Hi. News research. Bug number 1. When you set up the agent, it didn't even ask us about connecting to the portal. Huh. This is the first time setting it up on this specific Mac. We're doing it live. API failed. Y'all gotta test your stuff, man. Come on. Let's go. Okay. Let's figure this out. Probably go to the settings. Probably go to providers. Bottom right model selector. So when I go to the model, I have to connect to the portal first. So providers in here. This is the current recommended one, right? So we go to here. So it was able to pull my Anthropic key and my... Bruh, I can't be doing that. So here we go. Okay. Okay. So let me just go to free because I'm already signed in. So I'm just going to go to the free 99. Pay as you go, 300 models. Let's go. Bruh. Okay. So it wants me to subscribe. So I have to pay to subscribe for free. Okay. Let's see. It's $0. It's kind of weird to go to the Stripe checkout for $0. So yeah, that's what's up. You can close this page and go back to the agent. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I blurred things out. So now we're back here. And are we back, fam? We're so back. So now we're gonna select this one. Oh my God, there's a bug. Oh God. So it seems to be in a loop. Despite me actually finishing this, it didn't actually connect itself to the agent and loop back and tell it that it's done. So this is a brand new machine and a brand new setup, and it's kind of going through this loop. So I don't know what to do. I'm pretty much stuck. Okay, cool. Oh, it looks like it finally kicked in. Wow. Okay. Freemium. LOL. I mean, it's just untested. I think that I'm probably the first person to go through this test pass because this is like P0. I wouldn't ship this. Let's see. Connect the model provider to start chatting. Most options take 1 click. Okay. So we want to select a different model. And so we're going to select the, oh, here we go. Ultra free. Perfect. It just showed up after it downloaded its models. So we're going to say start chatting. Perfect. So now that we've gone to the settings, we've gone to providers, we should now have the models selected, and it should already select this one here. So if I select the bottom, I see Nemotron 3 Ultra currently selected, and it says medium. I have no clue. I think medium just means thinking. So Nemotron. Yeah. Super? Free. Okay, yeah, free. So we can select medium, high, or max. Okay. And then we have 128,000 token context window. Okay, so for those who are just tuning in right now, if you're trying to get this set up with the Nous Research, so Nous Research has a desktop app, which we downloaded. And then when you download the desktop app, you can sign up for the Nous Research agent plan. And I just signed up for the free plan. And so the free plan currently is delineated by selecting free for the model provider. And that's going to give us 128,000 tokens to use. And then you can choose your thinking window. Right now it's set to medium. And so if you're going through the setup like I did, you'll probably encounter the same bug where as soon as you sign in, it may not recognize that a model's been selected. You might have to do this dance back and forth several times. And then you'll have to go to the settings and try to make sure everything's connected. So just to FYI, this is a brand new machine that I set this up on a Mac. So this is kind of why I ended up here. And so now that we're back here, we should be able to chat with it. So if I just say hi again, I should be able to... Aloha. I'm just going to start a new chat. A new session. I have Nemotron 3 Ultra Medium Free. Aloha. I had $10 tacos in Waikiki, right? Oh my god, $4 for tour? Where? Daylight robbery. No, that's cheap, bro. You got to go to the Bay Area. I haven't played around with the app too much yet, but do you have the Hermes set up already? I have that set up on my DGX Spark, but I don't have it set up on this specific Mac, and I just wanted to really play with this model and see how well it would do. So I'm just probably going to start from scratch and see how I can, like, if I upload an image, can it recognize the image? Because from what I read in the model specs, it doesn't really recognize images, but we'll see. So I'm just going to give it my specific thing. Can you tell me what is in this image? And we'll see. I don't know what model is going to use or whatever, so we'll see. I'm used to Japan prices. Yeah. Yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're using the Hermes agent. They have a new desktop app for the Mac, and that's what we're actually using right now to use for free to chat with the agent. And this is probably the setup, to be honest, like going from 0 to the app install was super fast. I really like this way of installing a desktop app instead of going through the command line to get this agent set up, because it didn't really take that long to get it all going. So right now it's analyzing, and I have no clue what model it's using. It says it's running. Okay, thinking. It takes a very long time. Vision analyze. Describe in detail what this is. Okay. A man, dark hair, textured, t-shirt. Okay. So it is able to understand images. Okay. So what I want to see if I can do is maybe see if I can airdrop over a couple of different images that I think could be worth it. So like what I do is I take pictures of my nutrition labels with my agents, because a lot of times I'm trying to ask, like, you know, hey, I want to do this type of thing and compare this food. Can you then give me the calories and all the stuff that I need to know? So by comparison, you know, is it worth it? And the reason kind of why I'm looking into this is because if it's decent enough, you know, from a cost perspective, you know, can I actually just have a normal conversation and, you know, go back and forth? I don't know. So I'm just going to just airdrop this over to my Mac, and we'll see like how this does. I'm just doing some real world tasks that I normally would do. And this is kind of what I'm scoping to do. This is the best type of testing, to be honest, because then we'll understand, you know, can you give me the nutrition facts? For this, as I'm tracking calories, protein, and other stuff. And okay. So I'm going to change it from medium to high thinking. I'll just leave medium. I'm just curious to see how medium is going to do. It should do well, I think. I don't know. Yeah. I'm fairly certain it's using another model for vision. It detected your anthropic key, so probably from there. That's what I'm curious about. And I don't really know yet, because there's no audit So I'm really curious to see how it's going to run it through that, right? Oh, this is why I stopped using this. Okay. So it's why? I've attached the model, the picture of, for those who don't know, basically what I uploaded was this image. So I gave it this specific image of the nutrition facts, like no other distractions, literally just a specific label like this. I put it in here into the Hermes agent, and even says file, and it references that specific file right here. And then it says, can you give me the nutrition facts, right? So then it says like, oh, this is a digital thumbnail graphic. The pixels are not the protein. And so like, it's like, oh my God. It's like everything is zero. You're actually eating 0 calories. I'm like, oh, this is rough. This is rough. Okay. Yeah, this is actually pretty rough right now. So what I need to figure out next here is to figure out, yeah, ketogenic, bro. I'm on keto, bro. What are you actually eating? See, the attached image didn't come through. Binary files aren't readable here. If you've got actual food and you want to estimate it, you can. What model are you using for vision analysis? So for whatever reason, the desktop app from the Hermes agent does not recognize the straight up images that are from my Mac. It treats it as a binary file, which I find extremely strange. Like, why would it do that? You know? I did not set up an image. I literally just installed the agent right out of the box. And to be honest, that's like a really poor agent experience if you set up an app and you actually have a dialogue or an upload. Any of these input choices that you have for your agents, like whether it's file, folder, images, all of these should just be configured out of the box with something. And if it really requires like the person, like you don't want to offload as much stuff to your users as possible from a user standpoint. Like when I installed OpenClaw out of the box, I was able to immediately send a message, an image or whatever, and it just worked, right? So here on the desktop app, I'm pretty sure they're trying to mimic the same behavior as Telegram and stuff. And so that workflow or whatever hasn't really been tested. And to be honest, I think this actually requires more user testing because we're literally just finding these bugs left and right live. And like they need a lot more polish. So like I would not recommend this for my ground install. Yeah. Sorry, there's a neighbor who likes to rev their motor. So I'm running the free from the Nous provider, and it's a text-only model. So for vision tasks, I use vision analyze and it falls back to the auxiliary vision model. And the tool description says an auxiliary vision model returns a text description. So you send an image. I have no clue what the auxiliary vision model is. So we'll have to go to our thing here in our settings, and then we'll go to providers, and then we'll go to here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Okay. API keys, gateway. Advanced. Chat. Appearance. Workspace. Model. Auxiliary vision is auto. Use main model. I don't know what that means. There's literally no model configured. Set to main, set to main, set to... There's like no model configured. Change. Nemotron. Yeah, there's just the Nous portal, the free. Like this is the only model that's configured right now. I never felt Hermes was production polished. That's the way I feel. I've always had these problems. Yeah. I mean, for general users. Yeah, I feel like there is a line of like usability, and as a person who wants to do a lot of agentic work, I don't want to spend a lot of time debugging and going through these types of things. And I don't mind doing it. Like if I'm in a command line, I expect to be in a command line. I'm going to get dirty and do whatever I need to do, right? I'll run a couple commands. I'll tell an agent to do something if I'm pressed with time. But if I'm like using a UI, I expect like another level of polish that's above a command line interface where things should just kind of work. And I think that's what happens when you give people user interfaces, is because they're really supposed to just work out of the box. And it's really just comes down to somebody owning a workflow or a specific area, and then just being in charge to make sure that this thing works consistently for all those features. So if you're in charge of the person who's like, you know, integrating the models for this type of thing and the chat workflow, you got to be, you know, like these are like best practices that you can set an agent to start doing some testing. And I'm going to sort of start promoting my own little QA skill thing, because I feel like this is much needed in this new agentic world. So if you haven't checked it out, I have made a QA skill, and this QA skill is what I put into GitHub. And this is currently my school community. It's all for free, right? So you can take this and you can start to start asking some questions and start to test your own applications. And the whole reason you want to do this is because like in one bug report, like the agent will be able to like actually test and click around on the web browser, and it can give you really good bugs. So these are things that the code review stuff is not going to catch, like race conditions. What happens when you actually launch the app and then you start clicking through the app and start doing some specific things? Things like what I had mentioned with like the invite key, the connected accounts, stuff not showing up in time. Those are things that kill your actual usability, and they churn users super fast. And so those are the things that you want to fix right away. And this specific QA skill has come through like a decade plus of experience of me testing. And I'm trying to encode this down into a skill file that's literally for free that you can take and start using. And you just tell your agent to like run the QA pass, and it will start to do its thing. And then it will start to reason with other models, and it does like a multi-model reasoning, and it says, okay, hey, we're doing a bug review. We're going to review all the bugs, and we're going to make sure which are the ones that actually make sense and so forth. So you get to capture a lot of bugs from your agents testing them. The second part is that you get to leverage some of these models' intelligence to reason through things and say, okay, what are the most important use cases that you need to do? This is installed as a plugin. You can use it inside of Cursor, or Droid. You can use it in Claude. You can use it in Codex. All of it's available there. I have that all set up. If you have any feature requests, let me know. You can test this with iOS apps. So it will launch the simulator for you and start testing within the simulator and its own type of thing. You could even do it headless if you wanted to. It can run in a container and run over browsers. I have a couple playbooks there. Let me know what your needs are. Definitely start using it if you have some apps that you're testing, because I think this is probably the best way to find really high quality bugs that you want to fix first over some of the other like weird nitpicky stuff that the agents tend to find. So yeah, there's clearly a gap here. I have no clue how it's even referencing images. So yeah. So aside from that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back right now back to the Nemotron 3 Ultra research that we've been doing, because we did some research. And so we wanted to see how can I get this set up in my OpenClaw and who would be the best provider for this type of thing. So our little cursor thing did a lot of research here, and let's see what it came back with. So the cheapest per token is DeepInfra and OpenRouter at 50 cents input and 250 per million. Together comes next with 60 cents per input per million and 360 per output. And then Nebius with $1 and then $3. NVIDIA NIM is free. It's credit-based, so you have 40 requests per minute. Great for prototyping. Fireworks has a dedicated GPU only, so there's no serverless token fee, tokening. And then the context is trained to 1 million, but most hosts serve 256 to 262,000. So OpenRouter together is like listed at 1 million. So the speed median is about 146 tokens per second. DeepInfra clocked over 300. Here's the thinking parameters, and here's the reasoning budget. Okay, cool. So one caveat to confirm is the integration time is the exact Nebius Bastion slugs aren't published yet, so verify with get models. Okay. You want me to go ahead and apply the NVIDIA option, your config for OpenClaw, or just leave it to add later? Interesting. Yeah, Olama, $20 a month. That's what I heard it has it. Yeah. What keyboard is that? Oh, for this keyboard, this is the knob. So if you're not familiar with knob, this guy. So the knob is really, really cool. It's like one of my favorite keyboards. You can put your own like little picture thing here. Yeah, super comfy. I have it connected because I needed to charge it. Still kind of low on battery, but it's pretty fire. And let me connect it back up again because I still had it low on charge. But yeah, that's the best guy there. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably try this on Nebius because it's pretty fast. I'm going to do Nebius. Can you help me do a draft of what this would look like to set up with Nebius Token Factory? And let me know. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to have cursor chew on that. So I want to try to see if I can set up my OpenClaw to use this model inside of the using Nebius Token Factory. The reason why I like Token Factory is that it's pretty fast generally, and they're pretty cool. I used them at a hackathon, and that's how I actually found out about them. So Nebius will let us use this model here right out of the box, and this is from US Central. And it's, yeah, so this will host everything at 60 tokens a second. That's crazy fast. So can I use this? This has a FP4 quant. Yeah. So I think this will probably be a lot faster. And I'm super curious to see how we're going to be able to go to Playground. Okay. Aloha. I don't have any system prompt instructions, so we're just going to YOLO this. Let's see. 35 tokens a second? That seems way faster. Can you tell me how to cook a pizza that is gluten-free, step by step? So what I heard about this model is that it is fast. I think that's more than 30 tokens a second. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. So it says, oh, 135 tokens a second. Jesus. So that time to first token took us a little while, but after that, it's been super fast. Whoa. What about if I wanted a pepperoni pizza only? Oh, okay. Token Factory from Nebius is buzzy. 121 tokens a second. Yo, y'all know what's up. Because the default one that we got for free from Nous Research was much, much slower, right? I'm gonna ask the same question. Over here. I'm gonna do like a new chat. I'm just gonna do new chat, new session, same ultra. I'm just curious about the. While this is going, I'm just gonna eat a quick bite because I only got like an hour left. It's pretty fast. Use a flour blend. Interesting. Did it tell us the tokens per second? I don't think so. Can I get it over here? Read out loud. Start with the goal. Huh. So I'm curious if you have local models for vision and voice. What are your go-tos right now for the image model? Are you in love with the new Quen stuff? I'm super curious about Quen. And what hardware are you running it on? Is it a Mac, a Spark, a PC with a graphics card? Would love to learn more. Let's see. What if it's pepperoni pizza? Curious. 17K token context window. Let's go. Boom. At least over here, it's free for a couple weeks. But so that's interesting. So the model now says a 262 token context window, where our previous ones were much lower. It said it was like 100 something. Okay. So that must have been a bug. There is another bug here where it keeps appending high. So there's a bug here where no matter what chat session I click on, it keeps showing the last one as high. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Where can I file a bug report to Hermes? Does anyone know where I could file a bug report to them? Oh, these guys need to know. They need to fix all these bugs like ASAP. About? Yeah. Yeah, they need to. Okay. That's a pretty bad bug. Like every chat has this the failure message from this first chat appended. Oof. Oh, this is so nasty. Okay. I'm gonna stop using this because that's just it's killing the vibes. Okay. Wow. Okay. What if I wanted to keep it under 600 calories? I'll do 650. No, I'll say 800 calories with high protein. I'll say like 890. That'd be a fire meal. I'm just trying to make a lean, mean protein machine. Okay, so thought for 4 seconds. Dude, I'm loving Nebius. This thing is crazy fast. It's like consistent too. Huh. Okay, so this is 128 tokens a second. Wow. What do we got here? The math reality check. A standard gluten-free pizza is 2100, 2300. So if I wanted like a less than 890 calorie pizza, I would basically make one with 2 cups of 1-to-1 flour. Oh, I forgot to tell you it's gluten-free. No worries. So this is what I've heard about this model is that sometimes it will forget things, and I'm not sure because I didn't set the reasoning level higher or the thinking level to be higher. And that I wonder if that could have actually made a difference. So I mean that's something that I could try and see, but this is kind of what I heard. You have to be like very, very explicit with all your prompts. And let's see, does it? Yeah. You have to be explicit about your prompts and then any other parameters we can tune here. Let's see, presence, response text, temperature. No, I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, we had to be very explicit about like when we talk to it back, more so than the previous models, because like Opus and other models would typically infer. But with this model, you have to be like much more explicit. So check the status. So there are only 2 hidden traps in this specific recipe: the protein powder cross-contamination risk, and then the pre-shredded fat-free cheese. Interesting. Whoa. Okay. Can you give me the whole recipe? Final GF recipe. So here we are, a per slice half pizza. Damn, a slice would be 620 calories? That's so freaking high. So we use 1-to-1 gluten-free flour, whey isolate, psyllium husk, yeast, and yogurt mozzarella. And pepper. Oh, I think it's probably the pepperoni that's really causing this to go high. Tomatoes, celiac note. So the dough, you basically use that 1-for-1 flour, psyllium husk, and yeast, wet. Okay. That seems pretty straightforward. Yeah, NVIDIA Spark. So you're using a Spark Qwen 3 Vision and then Qwen 3 for text to speech. Yeah, I think I'm using a Qwen model for speech to text. Yeah, or text to speech. That's pretty cool. I'll have to take a look at Qwen 3. I'm also, yeah, super curious about the Gamma model too. Is it using web search? It's just YOLOing the knowledge based off of what has come through. So it's not using it. Also using Qwen 3 ASR. Okay, that's what's up. Awesome. Qwen 3.6 A3B has worked really well for reading images for me. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll have to get that set up too. Does Token Factory support that? Model endpoints. Qwen. Do they not have Qwen? Seriously? Oh, here we go. Is it Qwen 3.6? No way. Gamma? Gamma 3? 27B? EU North? Let's see if I can attach an image. This is super cheap too. Response format. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I'll play around with that a little bit. Okay. Yeah, there's also the build NVIDIA thing. This is the one where you can actually shove in, but I think you only get like 40 requests per minute, which is more than enough, especially for prototyping. So yeah. Let's see what Cursor's coming up with right now. I kicked off a setup draft agent, so is ready for you to review above. Let me just go ahead and review this real quick. Yeah. I just want to make sure everything's okay, so that nothing's gonna be leaked. API key, perfect. Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure everything's cleared out before we do anything. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So what it came up with is a plan here for getting the token factory set up inside of OpenClaw. So there's an OpenClaw block that I would have to merge, which is putting my API key in the environment. And then for the models, what I would do is just add a provider and then add Nebius, and I do their base URL. And then I reference the API key from up here, which is loaded in a separate file. And then the model I would select would be this one from the Nebius place. And then obviously reasoning is true. It looks like I have the text input, and then I'll have the caching as well. And the context window is 262,000, and the max tokens for thinking would be 65,000. And it looks like the thinking format is done with OpenAI, supports reasoning true, and then we have reasoning low, medium, high, and then suppressed string context. Okay, cool. And then I have my other stuff here. Perfect. So why each field matters. Okay, perfect. Add alias Nemotron Ultra to allow list so that you can switch between model Nemotron Ultra, safer than hand editing. Apply the same change via the CLI merge and it won't clobber existing entries. Okay, perfect. This is awesome. Make it available now versus set it as a default. Okay. Verify the slug. Perfect. Okay. So for those who are wondering, basically what I've done is that we can set up the Ultra model, the Nemotron 3 Ultra model inside of OpenClaw, literally by telling, I told Claude in this case to go do the research, but you would just set up, the base URL in essence, and you can just tell the agent and say, hey, I want to use Nebius Token Factory, and go ahead and select this model and go ahead and look at how to set it up for me. And what's nice about that is that you don't have to configure this by hand. And I think as of now, the OpenClaw is still being updated to support this model, but we can try it out now and I can see how it's working. So that's basically another option for you. At Nebius, it looks like it's 1 million for the input, and I forget how much it is for the output. It's like a couple dollars or something like that. But it seems to be really fast. When I was testing it on Nebius, just in their playground, we're getting over like 150 tokens per second. And then the Nous research one, it's currently for free for a couple weeks. That's also pretty fast tokens per second. And the reason why I'm using OpenClaw primarily for my actual agents is because I have a lot better experience with OpenClaw in general when I'm having conversations in terms of like uploading images, like actually referencing things, keeping a longer context of memory, having a personality. And right now my OpenClaw is currently being driven by GPT 5.5. and I currently have it set on high thinking. And I currently have fast mode enabled. So at $200 a month with my plan, I don't know if you know this, but OpenAI has been resetting limits pretty much every other day. And so for me, it feels like I have infinite fast mode, and it's incredibly fast and incredibly useful. And I've been using it for the weight loss stuff, which has been incredible. Despite keeping the same weight, I've actually lost quite a bit of percentage of body fat percentage. And I think I've lost like 4 or 5 pounds of body fat and like gained around that same as well. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm kind of leaning out. I'm now at 21% body fat. And so my goal is to get down to like 12% and eventually 10%. And trying to aim for that towards the end of the year, keeping things at a steady rate. And a lot of that really just involves taking pictures of things. So for those who are wondering, I'm also going to be building my own custom agent to do this. And it's going to be hooking up via voice to my OpenClaw. And the way I'm going to do that is basically using the GPT real-time stuff. And so with the GPT real-time stuff, I'm going to see if I can actually run this in the actual simulator. I don't know if it's going to run first try. We'll see. I have to quit the simulator. And I don't know if my stream can actually hold up, because when I'm running this, it usually is burning so much battery on my machine. So we'll see. Yeah. Forget the model. What's in the food box? Do you want to know what's in the food box? For those who don't, if you're just tuning in, you might already know. You're looking healthy to me. Gotta shine. You know what's really crazy? It's like I still got a bunch of more weight to lose. Yeah, most of it is just like around the belly area. So yeah, let's see. Did we launch our app? Okay, cool. So here's the app. So this is our, like, it makes little sticky notes depending on what's going on. I have this little drawer of like different things that we collect. And so let's see. Its name is Pebbles.
Okay. Ray, what's the one thing you want to study right now?
Hi. I think right now I just want to hang out and chill with you.
Yeah, right. We can just sit here and let things be easy for a bit.
What's on your mind?
Just a smooth, quiet, keeping you company.
Can you help me understand what is going on this week here in Hawaii?
Okay. Let me check what's happening around you this week. Trade winds, some passing showers, and some bigger South Shore surf are in the mix.
I'm about to go paddling here in Kailua in about an hour and a half. What's the wind going to be like?
Hold on. Let me check that. Looks like light to gentle winds around Kailua, roughly in the single-digit miles per hour range from the west-northwest around that time, based on an hourly forecast. Should feel manageable, but still read the water when you get there.
What was that again? I think I missed it.
Light winds, around single-digit miles per hour from the west-northwest. Still give it a look when you're on the beach.
That's awesome. Cool. What's the forecast for tomorrow?
Give me a sec. I'll look up tomorrow's forecast. Tomorrow looks like a mix of
¿Y también me lo puedes decir en español?
Sí, claro. Mañana se ve como mezcla de sol con algunos chubascos por el lado de Barlovento y una brisa del este de unos 10 millas por hora, con ráfagas más fuertes, según Anker.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of GPT real-time, and when you put it into an iOS app, it is just cooking. It is so awesome. So that's just kind of like the fun that I've been doing, and planning to probably do another live stream in the next couple of days. So make sure you stay tuned in, because I'm going to continue building that agent. And what I'm going to look into is try to see if I can use Nemotron 3 Ultra model in the cloud to do agentic tasks and to do some stuff maybe like in its downtime. So there's a lot of other processing that I want to do in terms of memory knowledge, like agentic tooling, that I could probably hand off to a much cheaper model and have it do that type of thing and kind of update like little contexts for things. GPT Real-Time 2 is super good at conversational stuff, switching languages. And then so what I can also do is do function calling with it. So if I do a function call and it turns out like Nebius Token Factory is just fast enough to do all my different web research tasks or do other things, why not hand it off to a cheaper model like that to do some of those things? Right now, I'm currently using Exa. So Exa for web search is what it's been doing basically those loops that I've been asking. And that's kind of what I was asking here. All of those are search requests that it's been sending out from literally from my voice. And GPT-2 real time, or GPT real time 2, has been just absolutely killer at trying to use that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. And yeah, we've been que fuente. So yeah, this is really exciting. Gonna have to change his name to an El Beeper. Yeah, so that's what's cool. Like, I actually want this to be used in different languages and stuff. And with the real-time voice, I think it's just like another level of agency that we haven't been able to enable. Right now, the problem is that 11 Labs and some of these other folks have some integrations with the Hermes model with voice, but it requires you exposing your Hermes agent out using ngrok. So basically, you put it out to the world. And so for me, I'm trying to figure out, is there another way to do this where we don't have to do that? And can I just do it with my phone, all being on the local Tailscale network? So to me, instead of placing a call, like physically to place a call, I'd rather just have an app and talk real time to, which would be really cool. So I'm going to be doing that. Currently building this out, and it's going to be taking a look and seeing, what model providers are going to work with that. So this is my journey of building this app called Pebbles. I'm here at the very beginnings. We're literally just prototyping this. This is kind of the goal. I'll show you a little bit of the design mock so that you understand maybe where we're going with this. And this will kind of give a bigger sense of where everything's at. So I'm using Cursor a lot, and Cursor is kind of the driving force between why I'm able to build so fast, because of like their agentic orchestration. So I've tried a lot of orchestration platforms, and some of the best ones I think are Cursor and Amp. But with Cursor, I get to drive things more specifically in terms of, like, once I hand off to a multi-agent workflow, I can do other things and kind of chat along and keep stuff going in a nice user interface that's all contained here, right? And so the docs that I'm showing you are going to be this is kind of where I'm thinking I'm going with Pebbles here. So here's Pebbles as a design. So what I'm showing you is like not a lot of people get to see, but this is basically my concept. Here's my hero. I'm going to reveal it. So my hero is here. So this is Pebbles. Like, when it's all said and done, it's going to look like this. Right now in my prototype, I just have some like simple shapes, and he's just composed of 9 stones, and it's just a little friendly interface guy. And what I like about Pebbles is technically it's like a verb in my life. So Pebbles is just a concept for things just kind of flowing. They can fit shape and change shape to do different things. It can be really expressive as well. And I think this is kind of my goal for this little character. And this is just going to be the character you're probably going to start seeing a lot in my life. And hopefully you get to experience it in your life too, as I make it come to life and ship this to the App Store. So this is going to be my goal. I'm going to try to make this going to be really fun to use. And I'm in a weight loss journey right now, and this is kind of where I'm tuning Pebbles to really focus on. So I'm going to focus it on weight loss, my journey, and try to see if I can help give this to other people who will want to have that conversation, and to maybe teach you about how you should do these things. Because in the last 2 months of me starting this whole thing, I've had to reprogram my mind in terms of foods I used to eat. Literally, when I would be hungry, I would just grab chips and guacamole, and I had no clue. I would literally eat a full person's calories for just one little snack for the day. And it adds up, right? So if I do that once a week, once a month, twice a month, can you imagine how many, that's literally half a pound extra that I'm adding every month or every 2 weeks that, just from one snack. I'm not talking about the other snacks like French fries and other things. See, those are the types of things that I started to discover, and I kind of really want to share. I'm pretty passionate about. So that's Pebbles in a basics there. And so I have these little different moods that he will have depending on how he's going to interact in the app. So that's kind of why I want to have the ability for you to pick them up. And I'm kind of changing the code so that it's going to make it easier to do that. So parts of it in Swift, parts of it more in UIKit, especially for the gesture stuff, because I really want this to be really fluid, and I want them to kind of come into different scenes for you in your life. And I want to have you pull out the camera so that the view is just a camera when you're taking things, and Pebbles just kind of sneaks into the view, right? And then we'll analyze and jump around as it's kind of taking a look at things for you. So this is kind of where the character is going. This is the model that I have sketched out for it. And this is I want it to actually look this good and feel like amazing like this. So this is, stay tuned for the journey. It's going to be a really crazy one on this specific channel, because this is kind of where I'm going with this. It's like I'm going in my app building arc. Out of all the different things that I can do for this channel, I've realized that the most important thing for me to do right now in this lifetime is to just build software, make it live, and share with you what I know. A lot of people may not be like that forward in their ideas, but I've realized now in the age of AI, what matters most is the care and thoughtfulness that you put into your attention to detail for how your software works. And so I am always very critical of software that I use, and I like to give feedback to other providers. And whenever people give me like a trial to use their app, if I'm actually going to use your app, I'm actually going to put the effort and tell you exactly where all the bugs are, because it matters. And if you don't take action on it, it's really on you at that point, right? But for me, this is the same level of care that I want to put into my products, that I want them to feel something. And I think that's what's going to matter more in this new agentic era as we move into this era of people building apps, because now I don't have to write all that Swift code anymore. I don't have to write that UI code anymore. I could just direct it. It builds it for me. And then I focus more on the creative experience. Like what's it going to feel like when I have this problem? What are we going to present? How is that going to, show up for you? And I care more about those details than I do like whatever, stuff that's kind of running. Like the implementation details are also just as important too. So that's what's going to be fun. So it's an engineering challenge. So I'm moving out. For those who don't know, I used to work at Apple for 12 years. So I'm moving from being an engineer to like being a single product owner as a single person working for myself. And this channel is really just an expression of that. It's like this live stream, us hanging out like this, literally super casually, like here in Hawaii, right? So just hanging out, keeping memories of San Francisco. Big shout out to the Notion team also, who sent me this really nice note. I have a cool shirt to show you and stuff like that. There's a bunch of cool stuff I'm going to try to build with the Notion SDK, which I'm really liking as well. And so, yeah, you'll see me explore all these different topics from, building this app, trying out new models, really trying to think about them as a builder and try to figure out what can we integrate and what makes sense today. And I really appreciate all of you who show up, because it makes it really fun, because, a lot of people, like somebody was sharing their experience on like their open models and like, what models are you using to analyze images? What's working for you? What's your setup? And if you're interested, I have a school community set up that you can literally join for free right now. And so that's probably your best way to kind of hang out and chat with other people who are similar minded. So if you just go over here to school.com / I think start my AI. So I'm just going to go back to the main page so I could just link this up for you. Feel free to join in, start the conversation, share what you're working on. Let me know what you're building. Connect with others on there, like help them out too, because everyone's kind of going through this journey. We're all kind of trying different stuff out. This is probably the best way to kind of connect with us live. There was a private Discord that I had, and that's currently on pause. So the folks are in there kind of hanging out, but I feel like this is going to be much more oriented like to this new mission and this new arc of where I'm going. And you don't have to feel like you're left behind. It doesn't take very long to get caught up and start to figure out how these agents work. But here, we'll get to kind of share what's going on, and there'll be different people with different expertise. So a big shout outs to Paul. Paul has been number one here on the current leaderboard today. This last 30 days, Green Smoothie, and we also have David as well, who've been able to show up. So let me go and check out some of the comments here. I'm trying exactly the same thing. Yeah, that's cool, man. This is what it is. Can't wait to see the evolution. Yeah, I need some Pebbles. Yeah. I like to know how you started with Pebbles. The last stream kicked off with you and you already built it. Yeah, so Pebbles came about really through a lot of writing. So I don't know if you know, but the Cursor team, while I was on their headquarters, gave me this cool like notebook. You may see this on my desk from time to time, and his little emblem like kind of etched on it. And I've been like, I'm not a designer, but I always see these designers with these cool notebooks and they have pens and stuff, and they're always writing things. So while being here, I took a little bit of break from streaming, and I just thought it would be a good idea just to start writing stuff. And it turns out it's like a really great way to just dump what's on your mind. So I just dump everything in here. I just every day just start writing stuff, and then just go for a walk or go to the beach, like literally just pull this out and just start writing. And so like I've come up with like different plans and different things, because when I'm on my computer, I kind of have a different mode of thinking. Even though it's Notion, it's a blank page and I'm writing stuff in it, it's not the same as like actually trying to write it down. So I think really, really fast, and I type really fast too. So part of the reason why I wanted to type fast is to keep up with my thinking. And there's something weird about actually writing because it's so slow to get the thought out. And so things are dying to get out, but it kind of helps also kind of make me think through things as I'm writing. So it's just slow enough to express, but also fast enough to get stuff out. So therefore, like all of my little thoughts kind of get put on here. So with Pebbles, I think I started to kind of write down some thoughts for like what this concept could look like for mostly specifically the weight loss, but I didn't actually come up with a character yet. And from there, what ended up happening is like how it became to be Pebbles. It was just going to be like a little, I don't know, dog or something. I was actually watching a TikTok, and this is kind of why everything's kind of random, right? So, and that's why I like connecting with nature and going out for walks and writing kind of helps you piece together these different pieces. When I saw this video, it was really cool because this high school teacher or this middle school teacher said, it'd be really fun to gaslight our students and say that let's come up with some cool, like a couple of keywords that will be really funny to say that we'll pretend like the high school kids are saying, but the middle school kids aren't up on it yet. Because it was right towards the end of school, coming up on graduation. So that I think one of the first words he threw out was parked, which I thought was really funny, but it was just a way of just literally saying when a car is parked, it's stalled. It's like you can say parked as a verb for everything, which I thought was really genius and clever. And so the other word he came up with, Pebbles, which is kind of the whole concept here, which is like how everything flows, it's natural, it's Pebbles. Like you could just say it like that as a verb and like, hey, bro, it's Pebbles. And so he was just trying to say this in day-to-day life. And I thought that was super genius. And then I thought about it some more. I was like, actually, that's literally me. That's my life. That's everything. That's actually what I want my character to be anyways. And so then I want to see if I have any concepts. I may have thrown it into ChatGPT. Let me see if I can find the OpenAI chat. So from there, it just sat with me for a while. And then after a while, it just kind of started to make more sense. It's like, oh, I could do this. I know exactly what frameworks I could use on iOS to make the physics look real and to like make it more interactive and do all the stuff that I wanted to do for this character. And that way it's kind of more fluid, because I was like literally just visualizing these little rocks going in a circle, like a loading screen. I was literally like visualizing the actual character juggling itself and picking up its own rocks and juggling it while it's waiting. There's a lot of cool stuff that just came into my mind. I have way more stuff and ideas, right? There's like animations and patterns and a lot of cool stuff that just I have so vividly, just I can see it, right? And so I thought, wow, this is a perfect mix. And so that's kind of where I came up with a concept and name. And then when I threw it into ChatGPT, that's kind of where it started to come into life. So all I did is like just this thought exercise of, like dumping my thoughts into ChatGPT and coming up with the first like actual design. So let me see if I can kind of come up and see if I can find this in the GPT images. So I think, do I have it here? I don't know. Concept, Pebbles. Yeah, I don't know. Do I have it? I think, yeah. So I wanted to make an iOS app widget. No, I don't have it in here. Okay. Logo design requests. Hmm. I have it. Oh, you know what? I think it may have came through. By the way, if you don't know, GPT image is like the best thumbnail designer. It came up with this whole thumbnail. But yeah. So I remember dumping a lot of my thoughts into probably Codex and then told Codex to just generate the image. He's like, here's the concept, here's what I'm thinking, here's a widget, here's how it's going to interact with everything. And that's, I think to me, is how it kind of was born. And so from here on forward, now I have really cool, hero images and assets, and that came along with architecture. So one of the things I like to do when I build apps is kind of discuss an architecture. And that architecture plan, I think I did it with Claude or something, but basically I have a skill. I need to put this in my skill file, but it's an architecture skill. Do I have it in my Fernando.ai? So I'm trying to centralize all my resources and eventually they'll be all in one place. And so is this the, okay. So I think is in my Discord. So yeah, this is where I need to consolidate things. So architecture skill. Okay. I'll find it here. Design, current state, design handoff. Okay. So there is a skill file in which I use for designing architectures, and it's literally just a conversation on like what the flow is, what things I want to do, what widget and everything is that's going to be in place. And so I think from that is kind of how I started the basis for the prototype. And I just gave that over to basically Opus 4.8, 1 million max. And it built out the whole prototype for me in Swift, like super fast. So yeah, there's some screenshots of the first prototype here. I'll show you. Pebbles concept. So in the simulator, this was the first concept that came out. And so the first concept, as you saw, like it has a phone, like a speech thing, a little thing here, and this little guy up here. And I think it was talking to like a mother type of figure because I was just kind of playing around with some prompts. And so you can see how far like the design, like the concept has evolved, because whenever you tell an AI system about how you want to do something, it's going to literally take your voice, and immediately the AI agent's going to think, oh, voice, he wants phone call. So let's put a phone call UI in it. And look what it does. It puts a phone call UI. It's like, and I don't know, it's pretty cringe to me. So when you're thinking about interfaces, sometimes it's just really good to just disconnect from everything and go for a walk and think about something like literally, if you look outside, like people never had these devices in their lives before. And like people used to just hang out in the ocean. They look down in the ocean, right? Like that becomes a mirror to a whole nother world. And so it's like, is my phone like the ocean? You know, it's just kind of floating by and I could pick it up and see what's in there, you know, like that's kind of way I was feeling. It's like, this should be ephemeral. It should kind of feel like the character just shows up like I'm looking down in a fish pond or something like that, you know? So that means I would have to get rid of all of this UI and just focus more on what it is that needs to show up. So that's kind of where it's going. As you can kind of see, I got rid of all this UI here at the bottom and kind of changing that up. Even the concept of that little thumb bar, it's going to go away too. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different design directions, but I feel like this is kind of where, you know, things should really be going. So what tools am I using for the animation? The animation is literally just Sprite Kit. So Sprite Kit has a lot of stuff built in for you, physics. I mean, you can make games with it. It's pretty fast, and you can just pick up things, has physics built in, and you know, just tell it whatever states you want to do, and that's pretty much you're good to go. What's the silver device that's near the keyboard? Oh, so the silver device is just an Anker power brick, or like an Anker like power station. What do you call these things? Yeah. So yeah, it's the Anker Prime, has HDMI. Thunderbolt Prime thing. Oh shoot. Yeah. So somehow, yeah, I'm basically sorry about that. I guess there's a flaky connection here. Something got disconnected there. Yeah. So I got basically an Anker Prime thing kind of going on here, and that's allowing me to connect via Thunderbolt this guy, and I have like a microphone connected to it. I got my keyboard for the power. I have like, you know, all kinds of stuff connected to it, which is really cool. So, because I only have a couple USB ports. That's what's up. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's what's up. I love these live streams. These are really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna have another live stream, like usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I might have a bonus one this weekend if you stay tuned. But make sure you check out the school community. That's gonna be where I'm hanging out, and so I'm gonna be just building this app, getting some more updates, and then eventually I'll open it up for some beta testing, and you'll kind of see me use those things. And if you're liking the mood, definitely stay subscribed, and appreciate everyone giving the thumbs up. And I got to finish these tacos before I head on out for my paddling because I got like an hour left. All right, peace out, y'all.